now it's time for Dirty Stories with Chris. Keep going.
Oh, God.
I'm kidding. No, I'm faster than the camera rate. Good morning.
Good morning, babe.
Buenos dias.
Good morning. I should actually be a little bit more perky. Perky. We don't have a percolator, though.
We have
Just
a
regular-
percolator.
Just a regular coffee maker.
Okay.
I feel like I'm really far behind here. Oh, my gosh.
Story of your life.
All right, so how did you sleep? I have a show and tell.
Okay, so first night with the perfect pillow.
We have it. It arrived.
It did arrive. It was one of two things that got here on the same day from China.
What the heck is it? Is it like a...
It looks like a baby changing table, and it's like really kind of... It's small. No, it looks like the thing that you like, so the baby wouldn't roll. Remember when we were?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It just looks like something you would put a baby with.
So,
you know, like
so the
put
design.
the baby in here.
The design is this right here that I
Yeah.
can do that, and it's really good if that's the position I'm in,
Yeah.
or if you're like there, like,
Right.
and you're not
So I
putting
can,
my
like, actually stick my arm here.
and I like my hands free. I can like
Well, that's.
eat
I
chips
can
or
put
throw
my head
popcorn.
in there. And
It's got
it's
a tunnel
or
you can go
wait
through.
a minute. Yeah, it's like a cat thing. You could actually
it does. It
like
looks
if you lay it on a cat can probably.
It looks like someone lopped the top off one of those cat castles. So, all right.
Anyway, so how was it?
Okay, so when you do it like this, it's just not. I didn't like it. I didn't like it. I liked
Okay.
having the option, but it's weird to have like what do you?
I just realized something.
What?
I'm sorry I interrupted. We're gonna do a baby. No, not a baby. A pillow.
We're gonna make a baby.
Perfect pillow review.
Oh, look, we're
You
doing
might get views now on YouTube.
the perfect pillow review.
Okay.
You know, it's good. It's good to have as the option for this right here. It really is good. But like any other way, it doesn't feel good. It's funny because it shows like this as one of the options.
Oh yeah.
On the thing, which
It
is
might be. No, I mean, you know, like maybe this part right here.
Anyway, so there's like this hard plastic thing in here. It probably looks like a dish strainer. I don't know what it is. However, I will tell you, my watch says that I didn't sleep a lot, but it says that the sleep that I got was very good quality sleep.
Okay.
So maybe science says yes.
Uh-huh.
Maybe science says yes. I haven't really.
I don't know. Well, you know, you got to give it a little bit of time because that's how it was with our purple mattress. At first, we're like, oh, this is awesome. But then it's like, but then I guess coming from like these beds that we were sleeping on.
Sleeping technology, space age. Astronauts use these things on the space shuttle.
Really?
Yeah, they used to.
Okay. Okay. I think I'm going to sleep.
There we go. The
Anyway,
perfect pillow.
all right, we tried it
You know
out.
what'd be cool is if you actually work that into and you could just like carry it around and randomly
Oh, yeah.
while you're walking around.
Oh, you could probably use it as a travel pillow too, maybe.
Okay, maybe.
Put it against the window.
That might actually work.
You
They
think?
should
Yeah.
market it that way, like the airplane pillow.
We should try it.
We should
and
make
then
our own version.
reinvent it.
Shh! Don't tell anyone. Yeah.
Yeah, because this could probably sit on the window sill thing, by the door, and you could do that.
So it did get
All
here.
right, we're gonna try it on the car.
It got here. I got my new stamper, my wax seal
yeah,
stamper.
that's nice.
That's always fun. I like getting things in the mail.
Yep. Got some new books. We spent some time at Barnes and Noble. Like, who even goes there anymore? But actually, people do.
I love bookstores.
Not many, but.
And actually, it reminded me when we were there yesterday and the day before. It reminds me of when you are at an airport and you get off and they have the bookstore.
Yeah.
Right? And then in the bookstore, I don't know, I just always love being in the bookstore. I love it. It's great. But I got some good ones. I got like
Yeah, you did.
There's this one, it's called Stranger in the Woods. And it's like I can't put it down. Right? I'm listening to it. I
Yeah.
can't stop.
Oh wow.
This guy
Oh yeah. This is a
disappears
nice,
from society
neat
for
story.
27 years in a place that we love, in Maine.
Right.
And actually, one of the groups that were there was the Rangeley Police. Remember Rangeley?
Yeah. So he was in that area.
He was in
the
some
Rangeley
area called North Pond, in Big and Little North Pond, and he would steal to keep himself alive.
Oh my.
40 times a year for 27 years, and he
Oh
never spoke to another human being. He
gosh.
saw a hiker one time. He said, and the only word he ever said in 27 years is "hi."
Oh wow.
It's amazing. Yeah.
Amazing.
Mm-hmm.
What would just? He just did. I guess he was extreme introvert.
This is That would
He
be
was an extreme
like
introvert,
on
yeah.
on a scale. And the guy's name was something Knight. I can't remember his first name now. It was Michael was one of his names, like the
Not
Knight
Michael Knight.
Rider guy. No, Michael was like his middle name, but I forget his first name. But neat thing. And then I got this book, which I'm really excited about.
Yeah.
Flow. And it just lines up with just so many things I believe.
It wasn't the same flow as the other one we picked up.
Live from Progressive. Oh no, the other flow. No, it wasn't.
You don't want it to do astrology,
Not the-
studying the stars kind of thing.
No. No, sorry, not into
Yeah,
that. What's in the
I know.
news?
Well, my news is
Ooh.
that Christmas movies started
Oh.
on Hallmark Channel.
Oh, Lord help me.
So I had my recordings happening, and so now I could, fast forward through the commercials.
I just don't know that the
And I
Lord baby
noticed-
Jesus came
you know
so
how
that
we
you
were-
could watch these Hallmark movies.
So, how last year we were in Mexico, so I couldn't watch Hallmark, and so now I'm catching up from last year because now they're releasing some of those movies from 2018.
you don't want to fall behind. Yeah, obviously.
Right. So I was like, oh, I never saw this one. Anyway. So. In the news.
In the news.
Let me see. There was something else I was going to say.
Say what you want to say.
I forget.
All right.
Something about
okay.
Hallmark movies.
Okay, for the
Yeah,
viewers
I'm
out
happy.
there, best Hallmark movie they should be on the lookout for. What is it? What's the best one you've seen lately?
Oh, lately?
Mm-hmm.
I forget. There was one that was back in a few years ago that I really liked.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a Christmas wedding or something like that. I don't
Okay.
remember.
There you go.
I can't. There's so many, hon. And they show them all year long.
Actually, there aren't. There's just one, and they just keep
Yes.
replaying it with different titles in a different little town,
Yeah.
and it's the same movie. I'm telling you, it's the same plot.
So, I was watching one the other day and they actually filmed it in, I guess they're doing more filming in Georgia.
Georgia.
Yeah.
But I do want to go to the place where they're doing a lot of them, which is in Vancouver. Vancouver or BC?
BC.
BC, yeah.
Yeah, Vancouver, pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so I don't know if you've seen this headline. It's not like funny or
haven't.
anything, but it's
haven't.
interesting case.
Ooh, a case.
Okay. So it's the case of the Peeping pilots. Peeping pilots.
Oh, I didn't
You
hear
saw
about
that?
this. I
Okay.
heard. Oh my
Southwest
gosh.
flight attendant alleges two pilots live stream video from inside plane bathroom. It happened in 2017. So the story, did you read it?
No, I didn't read it.
So basically,
that's all I needed to
the
know.
story is that she didn't know until she came to where the pilots sit, the cockpit or whatever. I don't even know what it's called. What is it called?
Yeah, it is called that. Yes.
Honey.
Keep going. You're live streaming, and this is happening. I'm like, this is.
Anyway,
I'm just listening to you.
so they. So they go. She goes in because one of the.
And now it's time for Dirty Stories with Chris. Keep going.
God.
I'm kidding. No, it's.
No. Okay, so one of the pilots calls her in and says, "Hey, I got to use the bathroom." She looks over to where the pilot sits, not the co-pilot, and there's an iPad that's basically showing up the video of the pilot going to the bathroom, and she's just like thinking, am I seeing something? Is this what is this? And the guy, the co-pilot's like, oh yeah, that's just, you're not supposed to know, so don't say anything, but that's part of the new security measures that
Worst thing to tell someone when you're
Southwest
trying to
is
keep
going
a secret.
through.
Okay.
And she's like, what? And so she takes a picture of the iPad with this thing. And anyway, so
That's a pretty good line, a pinch, though. You got to admit.
right.
Yeah.
So he's like, yeah,
Ugh.
don't say anything. But anyway, she ended up telling all of the other airline attendants, and she took it to the management and all of that. And so the courts are saying that these guys have they never violated any airline policy. And it was done in a joke, apparently. Like, I don't know if they were putting a joke on her or what, but anyway, she's having a lot of emotional distress. They never fired the airline pilots. They still are flying for Southwest.
Oh my God.
And she's still working there as an attendant. And she's going through all this, stress because of the incident. Because she keeps thinking, like, oh, they were watching me and going to the bathroom, and what about the people that were being videoed, and so apparently Southwest is saying there was never a camera, and then I'm thinking, well, obviously she saw anyway. So I don't know if they're pulling the crazy card or what, but I have no idea.
Okay, now there are some things that I could imagine. Maybe the guy put his camera, like his phone, in there, and then they were trying to trick her and play a joke on her.
Yeah,
but here's the thing.
Probably what happened. I'm thinking, but still.
In other words, it was this fun. That's crazy. Now, if it was real,
yeah,
right, and for whatever reason, like it's almost like I can imagine the next scene. If it's me, that's where I'm the pilot, and I go and I put on the parachute. Open the door and I'm out, baby. Like you're not. There's no way.
Right.
Like because once you if that's real, like you're caught, you're over.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. I'm like, okay, everyone's still working happily. Well, not happily, but they're still working and going through this whole court thing.
Oh,
I don't know.
That's
I
bizarre.
just think that was it a joke? Was it not? But I don't know. I mean, my thinking is like, why would they be so stupid?
I don't know.
And then leave this iPad sitting there. Like,
I don't know.
Whatever,
listen,
right? So
I'm
anyway.
so glad, honey, that I'm not a kid now, because I always used to feel like. Did you ever feel like when you were at a friend's house spending the night,
being watched by cameras?
and then you're like, I'm gonna take a shower, but is there a camera in here?
I always used to think that. I don't know why. But there have been cases that
I know,
restaurants and places that have had cameras.
But back in our day, though,
the Airbnbs. Do you ever think that?
Yeah, definitely. But okay, so now that's like legit. When we were younger, though, like video cameras were like this big. There was no way.
No. Now it's like tiny cameras. But yeah, I mean, I wouldn't doubt like if somebody was filming those in those vacation homes. I mean, that's kind of scary to think because we stayed in them. Donnie's thinking about all the people we rented from.
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh my.
Yeah,
okay.
We did a lot of renting.
So that's it for the news today.
Yeah.
I don't have anything else.
You don't have any? All right, just shut it down. Let's be gone.
Okay.
I'm kidding. There's a lot of things I've been kind of mulling over and thinking about. You should. This is one of those, and sometimes you pick up. You ever have one of those things that you feel like is true, right? And then all of a sudden you find out like, oh my gosh, someone else is talking about this, or they've written about this. And one of the things that I believe to be true, and am really trying my best to live into, is the idea of what I would call the garden. And the garden, and for those of you who didn't grow up in a Christian home, or you're not like familiar with an Old Testament, I'll just give you the story. Is that in the beginning, according to the Bible, God created Adam and Eve, and He walked with them in the cool of the garden, and there was for them everything that they needed for food and everything that was pleasant to the sight. Right. And so literally, life was just. Like it was peaceful, nice. It was harmonious, and peaceful. And I've never had a garden.
Happy, well, we've had everything good.
Yeah, everything was good. We've had a couple of gardens, and it wasn't that way. We had pests that would come in and eat through them. So I really am curious in terms of like the way that actually the practicality of all of that. But I believe that. I'm sorry. Let me go to the next chapter. Next chapter is Adam and Eve mess up,
Right.
right? They get kicked out, and one of the things that Adam is then cursed with, and thus all of mankind, is that by sweat and labor and toil and difficulty will you work, and when you go to do your gardening and all of this stuff, there's thorns are going to get you, and it's going to be hard. Oh gosh, thanks, Adam. However, according to what we believe, right, that Jesus is the second Adam, and not to go theological and all of these things, but I believe that he was the second Adam. He came to give us, actually restore those things that were done away with. And one of those is the place of work. And where I believe, and as someone who is getting his PhD in purpose, is I believe one of the things that's an indicator of that purpose is flow. Meaning it's in the place where it's almost like you're not even aware of your surrounding. There's a great poem I need to read at one time where it's like the person who loves what he's doing because that's what he was made to do, doesn't tell people whether he's at work or at play. He leaves them to judge because for him, they're both the same.
Right.
So that to me describes a little bit of flow, and that's where you're at your best, and that's where people want to pay you money, and that's where you're being a blessing to other people, but also like it's blessing you. You're a conduit of the gift that was inside of you.
Right.
And so so I'm really excited to be reading and so far I'm getting in some good stuff, and the guy's like, hey, listen, there is no, like, we all approach purpose or productivity or whatever with like it's a recipe book. There's no recipe like that I'm going to give you that you can follow because you actually have to be the creator of that. So it's kind of fun.
Yeah,
but
that's nice.
that's a lot to chew on.
Right?
Yeah,
For
but
everyone,
I mean,
they have to find their flow in whatever that is.
what do you think
About that?
Yeah, I mean, I know like you're married to me, so we're going to share some thoughts, but yeah.
No, I do believe in flow. I do believe in that there's that happy place of work and play, and it's all like you're really enjoying the process of whatever you're going through. So in this case, it's something that you're maybe working on. So if it's writing or if it's poetry, writing poetry, right? Writing poetry, same thing. Well, composing music, that's what I meant to say. Being an artist, drawing, or in your athletic performance or whatever it is, it doesn't have to be like whatever job it is, right? Even being a house or a homemaker, there's a flow in that. And I'm trying to find that. No, I'm kidding. I do have it. There's times that I don't, I was thinking, I'm like, there's times that I don't feel like flow, right? This good place when I'm doing certain things at home. And I love being home, though. That's like my place, just to be that stay-at-home mom. I love that. So, but there's times that I don't.
Right, sure. But then the interesting thing is, and this he's approaching this from a psychological, like a studies type, science type of a thing. The thing about happiness is it's internally, like that's an inside job, not an outside job.
Yeah.
Viktor Frankl, one of my like a book that's been pivotal for me, which is Man's Search for Meaning. This guy was in concentration camps. He was in Auschwitz. He was in others. He saw people like killed, family removed from him. All of those things that happened, and yet they're still able to find happiness over a crust of bread.
Yeah.
Or joy over a shared joke in the middle of like the worst thing. But it's like, but the idea is like, so then what makes people happy? And in Western, like where we're at, a lot of times we'll say, well, when I get this, when I'm married, when I finish college, when I have this house, when we make $100,000, when we make $500,000, when we make, and we like, and the crazy thing we don't see is like the bar keeps moving, and so we think that it's like an achievement, or we think that money or beauty or health, or like we think that those things are what make us happy, but the reality is we're losing the moment where flow happens, and that's actually the true place where we're happy, where we're useful, we're energized, we're giving.
Yeah.
So it's just like
not the strive,
some redefining,
and having to, So you're constantly in the work. So flow, yeah, definitely flow. That's that place, that happy place of where everything feels so good and peaceful and calm and you're being productive.
Well, and you're
what
working,
you're doing.
and you might be sweating, but you don't even realize that you're sweating. You know, it's the artist or the sculptor. You know, I don't think that Michelangelo, when he was creating the statue of David, which Anna hates, we have a replica of the statue of David, and then our Anna, our 11-year-old,
town.
right here in our town from the same quarry, and then we're like, oh, this is amazing, let's go see it, and then of course, you know, he's exposed, he's not wearing underwear, and Anna's like, oh, I hate this, and she turns away, like she's gonna melt. But I don't think that when David was creating that he was afraid, that he was, you know, that he was in the state of Michelangelo when he was creating David, that there was a state where you are, like, it's almost like you're not even aware of the moment.
Right.
And I think that there are places where we all can have that if we will let ourselves. Instead of always striving for this other thing.
Yeah.
It's like, what about those moments?
Right.
How can we create those moments?
It's difficult though to find that flow sometimes. So, you know, and that's, but I mean, once you find it, it's like, okay, how can you stay in that or get back into that? Or live in that, right? Live in a flow, a place of flow.
Yeah. Yeah. And I believe that that's something that we're supposed to capture. And so that this thing is about living in the garden to where it's easy. Everything is, you know, it's there to pick
And enjoy.
and to eat and enjoy, and your work, your life, your family, all of those things. But I have found that over this last year or so that I've had to undo a lot of my own requirements just so I can be like, my goal is to be the most joyful person I know. And I feel like I'm starting to like become that. But it's taken a lot of me removing just weird programming, you know, that says, no, you got to do this, and no, you suck because of that. So, all right. So, challenge of the day, I guess I would say is like maybe look back, reflect, think about something that has put you into a state of flow where you're like, you weren't even aware of time or space or even yourself. And the question is how can you do that more? How can you do that more? Where your work and your play, we can't tell which is which.
Right.
So reflect. Ready for the joke?
Sure.
All right. Anna's not awake. So.
Is this a dirty joke?
You told that one earlier. So,
I know. No,
but
listen, the whole time I'm thinking like, oh no, do I need to edit this out?
Yeah, we're
like,
gonna have to chop
oh
it
my
off.
gosh.
Here's the deal. All right, so I went to a zoo the other day, and they didn't have any animals. All they had was one stinking dog. It was a shit zoo.
Honey.
It was a shit zoo. It was. The dog was a...
Oh my
Okay, all right, so I'll
gosh,
tell another
I don't
joke.
get that one.
The dog.
Yeah, I know.
Anyway, so I'll tell
Okay,
the
I'll
other
have-
joke. The other joke is this, if you want to erase that one.
Sure.
All right, so what did the buffalo say to his son when he was sending him off for college?
To his son. I don't know.
Bye, son.
Bye.
All right.
That one's funny.
All right, that is funny. The other one's funnier if you rewind it. Have a great day.
I know that you said a bad word, but anyway, we gotta leave.